Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
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 Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Paradhari.
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Paradhari.
Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Paradhari.
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Paradhari.
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Thira Vanachari. Yamuna Thira Vanachari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Srila Prabhupada. Gaur Premanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna is speaking to us the wisdom of Bhakti Yoga. Do we want translation here? Are we okay? Everybody's all right? Right? So we're learning from the Bhagavad Gita the importance of Bhakti Yoga. However, In the Bhagavad Gita, other yoga systems are also mentioned. Generally, Srila Prabhupada would say the first 6 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita are mainly talking about karma yoga, yoga of action. And by action, gradually one would come to bhakti. So that's like the initial stages of Krishna consciousness. We want to do karma yoga, working for Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita, karma yoga is described in verses like karmani evadikaraste Yes, Lord Krishna is saying to Arjuna that your adhikar is to work. His adhikar, his qualification is to work. And Lord Krishna is saying work, but at the same time, don't be attached to the fruit of work. People like this verse from the Bhagavad Gita, and many people like to quote it, but they just like the first part, that I have a right to work. They don't like the part where Krishna says you're not entitled to enjoy the fruit of your work. Never be attached to not performing your duty, and never consider yourself to be the cause of the results. So this is karma yoga. Karma yoga means detached work. If you're not going to enjoy the fruit of the work, we have to be detached, right? It's not a very easy thing to do. We have to work. We want to know, what am I going to get? How much are you going to pay me? And so, like that, we have to be concerned with the material. But in yoga, we're encouraged to be detached, to work in a detached way. So Lord Krishna wanted Arjuna also to work in detached. Actually, to come to bhakti yoga, we may say, well, if I do bhakti yoga, do I still have to be detached? Well, yes. We have to understand there's a connection between the different yoga systems. Karma yoga, detached work, will lead us go on to jnana yoga, which is described in the final 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. Jnana yoga is how by knowledge we can come to devotion. You see, if we simply work, people often work, they don't know anything, they have no knowledge, they don't know who's God or anything, well, I'm just working, I just like to do service. We get many people like that. They come to the temple, come to the centers, they just want to do service, they like to serve, to do something. And it's very nice, it's pious, and certainly it's purifying to work. But we want them to come to a higher standard, to understand who we're working for and why we're working for him. This is, of course, jnana yoga. We have to understand that there's a Supreme Lord behind everything, and we're all his servants. We're meant to be engaged in his service, and we have a relationship with him. He is the enjoyer, and we are meant to be enjoyed by him. Like this, we have a relationship, the master and the servant. Now, this is jnana yoga, understanding these things. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna also describes jnana yoga. He says, Bahunam Yes, very good. After many births and deaths, one who is not actually in knowledge, they will surrender to me. So the goal of knowledge is to surrender to Krishna. But Samahatma Sadurlabh, such a great soul is very rare. And we should understand, if it's going to take many lifetimes, bhavanam janmanam, after many births and deaths, it means maybe it's going to take a while. It's not very quick, the process itself. It's going to take a longer time. Do you want to take a long time? No, we don't really. We like things fast, right? We want to get the results quick. So Jnana Yoga, while it's higher than Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga also is not really the goal. Although we do want to have knowledge, we do want to work, we want to have knowledge, we want to understand what the knowledge is leading to. And that knowledge is meant to lead us to surrender to Krishna, right? Surrender. That's what Bhagavad Gita, of course, is teaching. We were celebrating Ram Navami recently. Did you also celebrate?
Yes.
Yeah. So in the Ramayana, it's also about surrender. We see surrender, how Lakshman was surrendered to serve Lord Rama. And we see also Bharat, he also surrendered to Lord Rama. He was surrendered to the instructions of Lord Rama. Lakshman was directly able to serve Lord Rama. Bharat was in a different place. Bharat, although he tried to bring Lord Ram back to Ayodhya, Lord Rama had the mission to accomplish. In the forest, he had to kill the Rakshasas, particularly Ravan. So Lord Ram did not immediately come back to Ayodhya, and Bharat was left there in Ayodhya serving the instructions of Lord Rama. So the instruction and serving the person, not different. Just like we are serving Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is the founder of the Krishna consciousness movement. So we're not directly associating with Srila Prabhupada. Some people did, fortunate souls, they had that opportunity to be with Srila Prabhupada. And the rest of us, we're serving Srila Prabhupada instructions. Right? There's Vani and Vapu, right? So Vani is more important than Vapu is also important. We don't want to neglect the Vapu, the physical presence. We also serve the Vapu, but Vapu is not eternal. The Vapu is with us for some time and then it goes. Just like we had many wonderful personalities also in the Krishna consciousness movement. But one by one, they go. We lose them. But their instructions are there for us. And we take shelter of their instructions and serve their instructions. So, we want to understand the goal is to surrender. And that surrender, just like I said, Bharat, he surrendered to the instruction. Lakshman was surrendered to Lord Ram, the person, and Shatrughna, he's serving Bharat. He's surrendered to Bharat, and by serving Bharat, he's also serving Lord Ramachandra. So in a similar way, in our Krishna conscious society, we surrender to the spiritual teacher. Surrender to the Guru brings us to serve Lord Krishna. Just like when Vibhishan came to surrender to Lord Ramachandra, it was Sugriva brought Vibhishan, and he was telling Lord Rama, Vibhishan's come, he wants to surrender to you, my Lord. Lord Rama told Sugriva, you bring him. When you come, bring him with you. He didn't say, just send him in to me. He said, you bring him. Because when we surrender, we have to be introduced by someone, you see. So Sugriva brought Vibhishan with him and introduced him to Lord Ramachandra. So it's a very important point about surrendering to Krishna, that we don't go directly to Krishna, but we go through Krishna's representative. And you see similar example there in Chaitanya Lila. It was Raghunath Das. Raghunath Das wanted to surrender to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Raghunath was the son of a very wealthy zamindar. His father and his uncle were very, very wealthy, and they were maintaining practically all the brahmanas in Bengal. They were so wealthy and charitable. And Raghunath was the son. He wanted to go and join Lord Chaitanya. And they wanted, the family were attached. They wanted to keep him at home. Anyway, Raghunath went to Shantipur and he met Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told, just go home and don't be sahaja. You know, sahaja means you take things very cheaply. You haven't thought about it carefully, you're not very mature, and sometimes we want to do something without thinking properly about it. So Lord Chaitanya didn't want Raghunath to do that like that. And Lord Chaitanya told Raghunath, you go home, and because Raghunath had been married and he had a wife there and the family were there and they were attached to him, he told, just go home and behave like a normal person, but keep Krishna in your heart. And gradually, in time, Krishna will show you what to do. If you're meant to get out of that material condition of life, then Krishna will help you and he will arrange it. But don't do it abruptly, you know. And so in this way, Raghunath went home. But later on, Raghunath got the opportunity to go to Panihati. And in Panihati, Lord Nityananda had come, and Raghunath got the mercy of Lord Nityananda there. Lord Nityananda told Raghunath, he said, I'm going to punish you. And he said, your punishment is to put on a festival for all the devotees. So, you know, if you're in Panihati in Bengal, the festival every year, it's coming up in a little while. So it gets, you know, it's very hot that time of the year, and you know, there's not much things to eat. You know, there's mangoes. The mangoes are just coming into season, and there's bananas, of course. Bengal, everywhere they grow bananas. You know, so bananas and flat rice, shira, and you get also some dahi. There's people would keep cows and they'd make some dahi, and so they had the shira dahi mahotsava. And Lord Nityananda was very, very pleased with Raghunath Das, and he blessed Raghunath Das that very soon you're going to get free from your material situation, and you will be able to get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And it happened, but it's instructive to understand how Raghunath got to that position. After he was blessed by Lord Nityananda, then he could go to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So similarly, we want to go to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we have to go through Lord Nityananda. And Lord Nityananda's representative comes in the form of the spiritual teachers like Srila Prabhupada. We surrender to the Guru. By the mercy of the spiritual master, we get the mercy of Krishna. Right? We don't just go to Krishna independently. We need the introduction from Krishna's devotees. And you see also people, they often go to Srimati Radharani and they ask Radharani for her blessings. And if she will recommend us to Krishna, then certainly Krishna will accept us. So the importance of the relationship with the devotees is understood in this way, that by the mercy of the devotees, then we can come to Krishna. We can't just go abruptly or independently. Lord Krishna wants to see that we're approved, that the devotees are also blessing us. So Krishna consciousness is like that. It's a science. We want to understand everything nicely. We want to practice also Krishna consciousness. It's based on practical activities. We don't just only talk and then do something else. We try to practice also what we're talking about. Just like we should remember Krishna. So we have to practice remembering Krishna. And the way to remember Lord Krishna, of course, is by chanting his holy name and by discussing also topics of Lord Krishna, by singing the songs about Lord Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would go everywhere singing songs about Krishna and inspiring people by his devotional mood. So we're so fortunate, we have wonderful songs given to us by the Acharyas, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Narottam Das Thakur especially have given us such nice songs which we can be singing. So even though, you're all working, you go to jobs every day, but we can be Krishna conscious. We can have Krishna with us. In our heart, we can be thinking of Krishna. The process of devotional service is described in Srimad Bhagavatam in relation to Ambarish Maharaj, how he practiced devotional service. Right? And the first thing, of course, he did, Savai Mana Krishna Padara Vinda Vachamsi Vaikunta Gunanavarnane Kalo Hare Mandira Marjana Dishu. Like that, the different activities of devotional service. So, Bhakti Yoga is not just simply sitting and thinking of Krishna, but it's engaging in activities. Just like we see, you have an altar here, and we worship Krishna, and we come together, we discuss topics of Krishna, and we chant the names of Krishna. Different activities, practical activities, which help us to develop our devotion for Krishna. And in Srimad Bhagavatam it describes that when things develop more, then you can also go on one day make a nice temple of Lord Krishna. I was just traveling in India and I visited places in Bengal and Orissa, and we saw there how groups of people, they began very small. They had like a Bhakti Briksha program, a few people coming together, and then gradually it would build up. And went on to become, one day they built a temple, a whole temple. And there was one town in Orissa, Bhadrak, in Srila Prabhupada's time, one man had come and given Srila Prabhupada a portion of land there. So at that time, in Srila Prabhupada's time, we didn't have any devotees hardly in Orissa. Gaur Govinda had become a devotee, and he'd become Gaur Govinda Swami. He was from there, in Bhubaneswar. But Bhadrak, there was nothing. So one man had given land in Bhadrak. So that was in 1977. It was actually the last thing, one of the last things which Srila Prabhupada did before he left this physical body. So the land was received, but there were no devotees there. So the preaching was begun, and gradually people started to come and take an interest in Krishna consciousness. But it took time. It took time to get people together. And gradually they got some money and they were able to put up the temple. So just in February there, we went there and they had the opening of the temple in a grand way. Many people came. But it took 50 years. So things take time. we have to be patient, but we're not disturbed by the physical conditions. What's important is to be able to remember Lord Krishna. And the example is given there in the Prabhupada's Nectar of Devotion. He tells about the one Brahmana who was impoverished. He didn't have any material possessions. But he went to the lecture and he heard how devotion can be accomplished even in the mind. That you may not have any material facilities to offer to Krishna or for the worship of Krishna, but you can do everything in the mind and the effect will be the same. And the deity can be made of different elements, right? The deity can be made of wood, the deity can be made of metal, the deity can be made of jewels, the deity may be paint, the deity can also be in the mind. So you can worship Krishna in your heart, in your mind. You can be thinking of Krishna. So this Brahmana took this very seriously and he began to practice worshipping Krishna in his mind. And every day he would meditate about collecting water from the holy rivers, because you have the deity, you want to bathe the deity in nice water, so bring water from Ganga and Godavari and like that, go to the different holy rivers and collect some nice water and bathe the deity. And after you bathe the deity, then you also want to dress the deity and have a nice shringha to put on the deity, and then a nice flower garland for the deity. And then you have a deity, you want to cook for the deity. But the Brahmana has nothing. So in his mind he was thinking about cooking. Next time you're hungry, you can think about cooking. Actually, just thinking in the mind like that, your hunger can be satisfied. So anyway, the Brahmana was doing like this, and he was doing it for a long time. Regularly, he was worshipping this form of Krishna in his mind. And then it happened one day, he was cooking sweet rice. So kheer, it should not be too hot, right? Kheer should be cooled, then it's more relishable. I remember when I was staying in New York at the Brooklyn Temple. This was a long time ago. It was a different temple from where it is today. But we used to have a very big Sunday program there in the Brooklyn Temple. About 1,000 people would come every Sunday, and all American people. There were not many Indian people at that time coming to the temple, but still a lot of people came, and they all really liked the prasadam. And we would cook such a feast. We would prepare cooking 3 and 4 days before. And one of the things we would cook before would be the kheer, the sweet rice. We'd cook a big pot of sweet rice, and then we put it in the refrigerator to cool down, and then people would enjoy it. We'd make some halava on the actual day of the feast. We'd make some nice buttery halava, and they'd have this halava with the sweet rice. And people, they just loved the prasadam. Anyway, this Brahmana, in his mind, he was meditating about cooking a big pot of sweet rice, and he wanted to offer it to Krishna. So he was a bit worried that maybe it's not cool yet. I don't want to offer something too hot to Krishna, because if you offer something too hot, maybe Krishna's mouth will get burned. So the Brahmana was worried. He thought maybe... Anyway, we don't usually taste something when we're cooking for Krishna. We don't taste it, but you can put your finger in it and see if it's hot or not. So he just put his finger into the sweet rice. And of course his finger got burned. And he was surprised. The finger went all black, from the burn. So he was surprised how this happened. And the Lord of Vaikuntha, he was watching and he was laughing about this. And the consort, Lakshmi, she saw how the Lord of Vaikuntha was laughing, and she asked him, what's amusing you? And he told her, he said, oh, this Brahmana, and how he's bewildered by my offering, he's bewildered about burning his finger. Although he had heard that if you do it in your mind, you get the benefit from it. Still, when it actually happened, it was a shock to him, you see. Anyway, the Lord of Vaikuntha, he brought that Brahmana back to Godhead. So very wonderful. So some devotees like that, they have that meditation, they're serving Krishna. There was this one devotee, Shamananda, who was in the school of Jiva Goswami in Vrindavan. So Shamananda, every day he would be cooking in his meditation, he would be cooking the milk. Because in the village in Vrindavan, in Goloka Vrindavan, there's many cows and they have to cook the milk. You have to cook the milk, you want to make some ghee, you want to make some yogurt, and paneer, different things. So the milk was being cooked. And in the village, you cook on cow dung, and things get very hot. And when the pot gets hot, of course the milk rises up. You have to be careful the milk does not burn. So often his hands would get all burns on them. He's only meditating, but people would see his hands are so burned. They were surprised. How did it happen? Because in his spiritual body, he was serving Lord Krishna in this way. So this is the mood of great devotees, how they engage themselves in the service of Lord Krishna. Of course, we don't want to just do everything in the mind, right? If you just have cook a feast in the mind, you won't satisfy many devotees. Right? You want to get the blessings of the devotees. So Srila Prabhupada taught us how to cook nice prasadam and to distribute it generously. So in this way people can become Krishna conscious, chanting, dancing, eating prasadam. Very simple program, but very spiritually beneficial. But we want to take care of the soul, not only the body. The need of the soul. Need of the soul is to be connected to Lord Krishna, and we connect to Lord Krishna by service, bhakti yoga, by serving in love and devotion. Karma yoga was connecting to Krishna by work, but karma yoga, detached work, but without knowledge. Jnana yoga, you've got some knowledge, but still it's not very perfect, because Jnana yoga, one may be thinking only about his own liberation. He's not necessarily thinking about giving pleasure to the Supreme Lord. So knowledge can help us to come to transcend the material energy, but it does not connect us to Krishna. Unless we become devotees. It's devotion which is really what Krishna wants. And in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna said, only by devotion can I be understood as I am standing before you. Lord Krishna wants that devotion, bhakti. And that devotion which we all have, it's within us, and it's awakened more and more the more we hear and chant. By hearing regularly and chanting, and then by serving also. We do all of these things. So one who is a bhakti yogi, he's also doing karma yoga, he's also got gyan, he's also got knowledge, but his real focus is devotion. He wants to please Lord Krishna by his devotion, the love of his devotees. Lord Krishna wants that love. That's something very special. We all like to be loved. We like to be cared for, to feel that loving relationship. So that eternal relationship is there for us with Lord Krishna. And we can develop that more and more from Bhagavad Gita, by hearing, chanting, by surrender, right? Surrender. Letting go of our material attachments and just simply taking shelter of Lord Krishna. So we'll ask, is there any questions? Anyone? Nice to see you're all studying Bhagavad Gita so well. You're learning the slokas. Very good. Have you all done Bhakti Shastri? Yes? Did you do the Bhakti Vaibhav also? You're going on to do it? Yeah? Yes, it's good. Try to study Prabhupada's books. We like to study. We have these nice courses in our institution. There's an opportunity to study the scriptures, to study the Bhagavad Gita. And it's very nice. Our devotees in mainland China, they're also studying regularly. And around the world, we have many courses going on in the different languages. It's a very nice opportunity to understand the scriptures and to be guided. Often people read Bhagavad Gita, but they often don't always know what is being taught and what is the message. We can have classes, we can memorize slokas, but it's not necessarily true that we understand everything. But by having these courses, we get some deeper understanding about the message of the Bhagavad Gita. So here in Singapore it's important. In Malaysia also we have it. Actually there's a branch there in Malaysia. They're teaching in Tamil, if you like the local language. We have also some other places they teach in Hindi. They teach of course in Bengali. Bengali people, they love, many people study the Bhakti Shastri in Bengal. Many of the people there, they like very much to take these courses and to hear the classes. So, yes Prabhu?
Why did Nityan Prabhu call Radha Swami a thief or a chore when they met in Varanasi?
Why did Lord Nityananda refer to Raghunath as being a thief? Well, we have to understand that all the money which he had was actually Krishna's money, you see. It wasn't really his. That whatever he was enjoying in the material world, it wasn't his, it belonged to Krishna. All of the opulence, the wealth of his uncle and his father, all that money was actually, it's Krishna's money, Lakshmi. Lakshmi is the consort of the Lord, and Lakshmi belongs to Lord Narayan. She is meant for the service of the Supreme Lord. So this is one reason why Lord Nityananda referred to Raghunath as being a thief, that he's having the opulence of the Lord. It's all meant for the Lord's mercy. So he was having it all. He had so much money, so much wealth. Of course, he wasn't attached to it, but still, Lord Nityananda wanted to show the example. He wanted to teach everyone that when you have some opulence, when you have some wealth, we have to use it for the service of the Lord and for the service of the Lord's devotees. If we don't, then ultimately it will all be taken from us and we won't get any benefit from it. You know, we have a lot of wealth. If you try to keep it, what will happen? You'll spend it on medical bills, you know, hospitals and lawyer fees, legal disputes, these kind of things happen. And all the money will be taken by doctors and lawyers. And so you don't get any benefit when you give your money to doctors and lawyers. But if you give your money for Krishna and the service of the Vaishnavas, then that's you get spiritual benefit. So this is the understanding that whatever we have, we want to use it for the service of Lord Krishna, Lord Krishna's devotees. And if we don't, then we're actually stealing. Just like Ravan wanted to take Mother Sita away from Lord Rama. So Ravana-like people, they want to enjoy the opulence of the world. We should understand the real opulence of the world is meant for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. It's meant to be for His pleasure, not for any other purpose. Okay. Yes, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for the lecture. Maharaj, as much as we have this knowledge that we need to engage our senses and we need to serve Krishna, at least if I'm looking at my day, most of my day I'm ending up serving myself and maybe I'm not serving Krishna. So we have that hours in the morning where I'm doing the sadhana, and then after I'm going back, then again it's back because we are engaging either in work or as a grihastha, we are trying to support our families. So how do we flip that wherein the majority of the time we are actually serving Krishna and not ourselves?
Yes, very important point of Prabhu's bringing up. How can we keep ourselves in Krishna consciousness and that what we're doing is actually for Krishna and not just for our own self. So the process is we have to have a good sadhana, the morning program of hearing and chanting, daily program. We have to understand that remembering the Lord is not just you light an incense and you bow your head and you think, I remember God. You see that the process of remembering the Lord is based on chanting the holy name. We have to chant. We have to practice japa, meditation on the Lord by regularly, faithfully chanting His names. So this is how we can fix our mind on the Lord. And we have to practice this kind of meditation every day. You know, we have programs like maybe once a week you come here, you have a program here, you know, but every day we have to practice remembering the Lord. And it starts in the beginning of the day. The morning time is actually the best time to practice this. You know, so we have that morning program where we do and you can do in your own home, of course, but it requires that determination. You have to be sincere and steady. You have to do it every day. You have to chant. You have to take time to sit with your beads and to chant the holy name and to hear. Also, like, hearing is not very difficult. You know, you have mobile networks, you have your mobile phone and so on, and you can go online and you can hear class, maybe coming from a temple in India, or even maybe somewhere even here in Singapore. You can be hearing. Some devotees even give classes every morning, like Lokanath Swami likes to do a japa class. We'll speak about chanting the holy name with people every morning. I like to see people chant the holy name, not just talk about chanting the holy name. But talking is one thing, and next thing is to get them to chant, to actually do it. So we have to do it, we have to make a regular program, make a determined vow that I'm going to spend time to chant the holy name. And that act of chanting the holy name, that will give us the awareness that I'm meant to serve Lord Krishna, that I'm doing whatever I'm doing it for Krishna. Working, you have a family, yes. We have to maintain the family, but the family are also part of Krishna. Lord Krishna is in the heart of everyone. So certainly the family is given to you by the grace of Krishna, and you have to maintain them and keep them in Krishna consciousness. Right? And so that's a service to Krishna. And you have a job, we have to work for Krishna. We're working not just for our own security, but we should think, Krishna has given me this job, I'm working for Krishna. In the Bhagavad Gita purport, Srila Prabhupada writes how there are a number of devotees who are working in factories and in offices, but they're sacrificing some portion of their hard-earned money for the service of the Krishna consciousness activities. And Srila Prabhupada said, these devotees are actually in the renounced order of life. So that is the position, you see, although you're working, but if you remember to contribute something for the service of Krishna, then that is the renounced order of life. It means you're already an advanced devotee, you see, because you're dedicating the fruit of your work for the service of Krishna. So we work, but we don't just work only for our own maintenance. We have to think, I'm working for Krishna. Do it for Krishna. So for that purpose, you know, we try to do things like make nice temples around the world. And of course we're building the big temple in Mayapur. It's coming up, and Mayapur is meant to be a city, not just simply a temple, but there's meant to be a whole city there, a community of devotees living there. This is the vision of our acharyas, to make Krishna conscious cities full of devotees with huge temples for the worship of the Lord. So we have to be in Krishna consciousness. We want to work. We have to work. You have a job, yeah, work. Everyone's working. Bhagavad Gita said, no one can be idle, not even for a moment. Everyone is forced to act helplessly due to the modes of nature. So we must be careful how we're controlled, how the modes of nature control us, and try to come at least to the mode of goodness, come to the higher level consciousness. So we can do that by dedicating our activities for Krishna's pleasure. There's Sakama Karma Yoga, Niskam Karma Yoga. So Karma Yoga, different levels, becoming more detached. And then come from Karma Yoga, coming to Jnana Yoga, understanding why we're working and who we're working for. And then Bhakti Yoga, surrendering everything to Krishna, dedicating body, mind and words in the service of Krishna. It's not just only using the body, mind and words also must be there. They should be controlled. So surrender, there were 6 items of surrender: accepting everything favorable for Krishna consciousness, and then rejecting everything unfavorable, meaning meat eating, intoxication, gambling, illicit sex, these kind of things, they're very unfavorable for Krishna consciousness. So we reject these things and we accept hearing and chanting, association with devotees, kirtan, these things, seva, right? And then knowing that only Krishna can protect us. We don't look to other things to protect us. We depend on Lord Krishna for protection. Mari Krishna. Right. If Krishna wants someone to live, no one can kill him. And if Krishna wants someone to die, no one can save him. So we depend on Lord Krishna. And we see Lord Krishna taking care of his devotees. Just like we had that incident just recently that Badrinarayan Swami Maharaj had come to Singapore, and he stayed for 5 days here in Singapore, gave classes, and then he went to Burma, then he went to Mayapur and he was attending meetings in Mayapur, then he went to Vrindavan, and when he was in Vrindavan he left the body. So Krishna arranged for the devotee to leave his body in the holy place of Vrindavan. Because he dedicated his life to the service of Krishna, so Krishna took care of him, that he could depart in Vrindavan. Usually he's living in America. Usually he's over there in the West, but Krishna arranged it. He just come for a short time, but in that short time Krishna arranged he could give up his body in Vrindavan. So very glorious departure. So like that, we want to understand how to do everything in Krishna consciousness. So Krishna protects the devotee, Krishna maintains the devotee also. We shouldn't think it's my hard work, by my hard work I'm maintaining. No, Lord Krishna is maintaining everyone. And Lord Krishna, we should have no desire separate from the desires of Krishna. And we should always be humble. We should consider ourselves very insignificant servants of Lord Krishna. So that these are 6 items of surrender which are identified by the acharyas. We want to try to practice these things. Right? So surrender, love, devotion and surrender. Surrender, we're not forced, there has to be that love, that we really want to give ourselves up to Krishna. And that surrender, that's shown to us in the Shikshastakam prayers. You have the final prayer of the Shikshastakam. Srimati Radharani is saying, Asli Shiva Yes, this is the words of Srimati Radharani, that she is saying that I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he will always remain so, even though he may handle me roughly by his embrace. And she calls him Lampata, you know, that he's a bad boy, you know. But Srimati Radharani said, if this is his happiness, she said, if my being unhappy makes Krishna happy, then that is my happiness. You see, this is the thinking of the devotee. We don't say, you know, you have to make me happy. No, if Krishna's happiness is to make us, put us into stress, then that is our happiness. We want to see Krishna happy. So this is surrender. We cannot put conditions on our service to Krishna. What we want, what we expect to get from Krishna. No, surrender, unconditional. Ahaitaki apratihata, right? Unmotivated and uninterrupted. That is the mood of devotion. Okay, so, Padmalochan, and how are we doing on time?
We can leave in about 10 minutes.
Okay.